Hi, I get asked a lot how here at Click Backdrops we create some of our backdrop ranges and some of our custom designs that we'll do for customers that ask us for specifics. One of the things that were pretty popular last year and the year before that has been my stacked range, where they've been sweeps with a second canvas effect backdrop looking at overlay, and I wanted to take that a little bit further. So something I've been working on recently is triple stack design, and I want to take you through how, having done that yesterday, and I've done 4 or 5 different colour variations and shadings, I wanted something with a little more dimensionality, a little more 3D effect, just again to give photographers more choices in what they do. So I started working today on this, but before I even started working on that, I'm going to take you through some of the resources I made to go with it. So the first thing that I actually did, it's no secret, we all use AI nowadays to do things, and I actually started off with an AI image. So I used a prompt and an AI software to give me the basics of where I wanted to go with it, but it wasn't quite how I wanted this backdrop to be. So that was the first thing. So then I looked at that, and I looked along at the triple stacks I'd done yesterday, and I thought I needed some more textures and things. So I have a massive texture library of things that I've saved and photographed over the years. So again, I just worked through some of the textures I've got and put some of those into a folder. And then I've got something to work with going forward with this, from very soft to very craggy textures. So that was that. So the next stage there, all our backdrops, because we have all the sizes that we use, we have templates for. So this was our 2.72 by 4.57, our standard sweep backdrop that we use for the roller systems. And I started with the template, and as you can see, where the blue line is where the forebrake is. So then I took one of my AI images and I dropped it in, and as you can see, I'd altered the colours a little bit and the flooring and given more of a defined edge to this sweep. And the reason I wanted that is because I wanted this now to change the textures on various parts. So again, I've used one of my textures. It'll be quite subtle to see on there. I'll blow it and added that. And then when I add the other texture, you can see now how it's starting to build from that plain plaster shape that it had before into that. And again, with the background piece, the second piece here, I did the same again. So I've dropped another texture onto that, and I've now refined those here. And we're getting to the start of where we want to be with this backdrop. But as you can see, edges aren't quite lined up and shadows don't quite match, and we've got the issue with the 4. So everyone thinks it's a 2-minute process, this, but this actually equates to about 45 minutes to an hour's work just to get to this point from here. So then I start doing a little bit of tidying up on the edges, as you can see down this edge here. I transform that a little bit to make it fit better, but I'm also not happy with shadows yet and those kind of things. So again, I'm just working on building that 4 to match what we're seeing in the background and making it look like we have not just one base layer, 2 uprights and a floor mat to bring it all together. But as you see, what I did here is a bit of a copy and paste from the other side, but it doesn't match up. So then there's more work on that to bring the colours in line, and then a little bit more cloning and all of those things to bring it much more into line as a backdrop would, because we're very, very particular about making it look right as it shoots. And then again, this still had a Hessian texture on at the bottom, whereas this is more of our beige plaster texture. So I dropped that in and shaped it to fit. And again, and you can just see now how it's all coming together, but still I've got a couple of issues. So I'm going to zoom that out so you can see a little bit better here. And things like shadows aren't quite making sense. This is obvious from the way this shadow goes, and this is why it really helps to be a photographer as well as a backdrop designer, because I understand the way the light is falling, that we should have shadows down here, etc, etc. So I'd start working on those. Literally with that one shadow layer, it's starting to look much more real now, and that's starting to bring it all together and making it look like the backdrop. And then there's little refinements, adding a vignette around the edges to, again, this is going to be the floor area. We've deliberately made this look like it's going to sweep onto the floor, because again, it looks real that way. We have the 3 panels on the back. This is where we will post our subjects or our product in front of. So I then brought a little vignette in to just tidy it all up and bring the eye straight to where I want it to go. This side was still a little bit brighter than I wanted it to be. So again, a little bit more work to darken that off and make it look more realistic. And when we actually zoom it, you'll see that we've got lots of nice textures, but still a few little cloning marks there. So my next stage after that was to tidy that up, and it now looks like it is 3 stacked boards with some texture on, looking on the background. Still a little bit more to do with this. Nobody likes to print incredibly dark, because what happens is you get blocking up in shadows and all of that. So just the same as I would with the photograph, I'm just going to lift the blacks just a touch to make sure that everything is printable, but keep those midtones nice and dark so that everything will print. We're really important in making sure that everything prints. Now at the moment, that's about 90% there. And there's just a few last refinements that we do. I may want to look at, do I need to soften this? Do I need to sharpen this? And what I'm seeing here is just a touch of disparity in the colour created by the shadowing here. So I'm going to take another layer. So I'm already up to about 20. I'm going to sample that colour. And again, I'm just going to use a brush and just blend it a little bit with that to bring those colours in a little bit more refined. So with something like that, but now about 99% there, and one thing that we do is we will go around at a high resolution, check all our edges. So I've painted that colour there. I don't like the fact that it's spilt, so I'm going to paint on a layer mask and hide that bit where it's overlapped, and just make sure that everything's right. It just needs a little more of that brown coming into here, but just blend. It's a little bit strong at the minute, so that last brush stroke, that'll just fade out, and we're just making it all come together. And we do that, and then the next stage after this will be to just triple check the artwork, check our colour spaces are all correct and things, make sure there's a tiny little droplet on the background, so I'm just going to take that out. This will be printed on ProFabric material, so we don't want it any sharper than it is, because it's going to have a softness with it, and it'll just print out like a textured canvas. And there is pretty much where my backdrop's going.